Hi guys, today we're going to be making whole grain fruit-filled bars. So some of you have eaten a Nutri-Grain bar, and Cashy has breakfast cereal bars too. And these are kind of the homemade alternative to that. Okay, so they are whole grain, so we're gonna start measuring out some rolled oats. So old-fashioned rolled oats are gonna have a lot more fiber than quick cooking oats, and that's because they have not really done too much to this oat. So the quick cooking, they've broken down a little bit in a process so that it cooks quicker. But with this, it's just the whole grain, which is really good. Okay, so we need 1.5 cups of rolled oats. Then it calls for 1.5 cups of whole wheat flour, okay? So you notice that I did the oats first because the oats will come out of my measuring cup easily. They're not going to leave any residue. So this whole wheat flour is really good quality. King Arthur flour is some of the best flour that you can get. They do have it at Food Lion and I think at Connors. So trying to be real careful. So you spoon your flour into your measuring cup so that it is not packed. Okay, so 1 cup, and then I need another 1/2 cup. Okay, so I want my flour to be fluffy as I can get it, and whole wheat flour is not going to be as fluffy as white flour because it's denser, because it still has some of that grain in it. Okay, so there was 1.5 cups of flour. So we have 3 cups of carbs in there. The next thing we need is a 1/2 cup of brown sugar, and I'm going to use the same 1/2 cup. Oh, I'm making a mess. And actually I can go like this because brown sugar is supposed to be packed. So I just stuck my thing in there, pressed it, packed 1/2 cup. Okay, made a little bit of mess here. Clean that up. So now I need 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Okay, now all I have is coarse salt, but it's going to be in the food processor, so it will break down a little bit. And then the next thing I need is 1.5 sticks of butter cut into 1/2-inch cubes. So this is going to be like a dough. So we're in the food processor right now. Make sure I got this one here right. Haven't used this thing in a while. Wrong way. Okay. So I clicked it. I know that it's ready to go. Okay. And then it also calls for some ice water, a couple tablespoons. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pulse that to kind of get it mixed up. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do, whoa, look at that, is add my butter. Okay. And you could do this without a food processor. You would just have to cut it in like we did with biscuits. And you're supposed to pulse it. Okay. All right, so that's looking pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting, I want to make sure it says cold water. Remember when you're doing biscuits or anything that needs to be like flaky, you want cold ingredients. That's why I kept that butter in the fridge. Okay, so how many? It says 2 tablespoons. So I'm going to add another I keep getting the ice in there. Tablespoon of ice water. Really, that's not looking like it's okay. So it says until dough holds together when pressed. All right, well, let's see. It's holding together. Yep, it's holding together pretty good. Okay, but you know what? I think I'm gonna add just a tiny bit more water just because it looks a little dry. So I'm gonna add an extra tablespoon of water. This doesn't have to rise. It's not like a cake. So I feel like I can kind of make some adjustments and it won't. Yeah, that looks way better. Okay, so the recipe calls for half of, I need to spray this. So this is a 9 by 13 inch baking pan. It is covered in parchment and I'm spraying it with cooking spray, okay? And so once I get this down there, it'll keep it down. So, whoops. So I did something you're not supposed to do. I went in there too fast and I got a little down the edge. That's gonna burn. Okay. All right, so let me see if I can get some of that. Okay. That's what happens when you're going too fast. All right, so I just need to spread this out. Okay. So I'm spreading it out and not really pressing it at first. And then I'm gonna kind of firmly press it down to make a crust. And the reason why I didn't cut this is because when I take it out of the oven, I want to lift it out. You can back up so you can see the hole. I'm talking. Okay. All right, so I'm pressing this down. Actually, you were right. Yeah, you better come in so you can see me press this down. Okay, I'm pressing it down. There's chunks of butter, which is what I want. Okay, and then it looks like I could probably, I'm making a big old mess today. Use a little bit more of this because this is just going to be like a kind of sprinkle on the top. This is pretty easy to deal with, so I'm happy that I put that extra tablespoon of water in there. Okay, so that looks pretty good. These aren't super thick. Put a little teensy bit more. Okay. So when I went to Fresh Market, I was looking in their jam section. The recipe calls for a sugar-free fruit preserve. I'm making a big old mess. And so I ended up getting apricot preserves because I have a few other recipes that I want to make that call for this. So I knew that I wasn't going to use it all. It calls for 3/4 of a cup. So let's see. And all you do is we're going to put this right, we're just going to spread it right on top. So you could do strawberry, you could do cherry, raspberry, whatever fruit you wanted to do, you could do. Okay. All right, so the only thing with this is you got to kind of really go with it, because if you look right here, it's starting to get that, you know, crumb topping or crumb bottom in it. And so try not to press down too hard. Just kind of really pull it. Push or pull it. Okay, see, it's starting to pull it up on me. Interesting. I've not made this recipe yet. I don't know how I would fix that. Maybe it's just too thin of a place. I might need to, next time I make these, I might make that bottom layer a little thicker. Almost done. And okay, there we go. Okay. All right, so then the last thing is to take this and sprinkle it. Okay. Yeah, so I would have used quite a bit more on the bottom, I think, because this is a lot on the top. And I'm wondering whether it's just gonna crumble off. I didn't get my portions on here too good. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna put the rest in there, and it says to sprinkle it, but I'm a little nervous that it's not going, that it's gonna just fall apart when I get it out. So I'm gonna press it a little bit, okay? So it gets into the apricot, and then maybe some of that butter will bind it a little bit better. Okay, let me rinse my hands since I'm getting stuff everywhere. Okay. All right, so this goes into a 350-degree oven for 40 to 45 minutes. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this in there, and then I will be back to show you the end product. All right, so this is the end product. They came out a couple hours ago. Let me see. So they're a little more flexible than I had anticipated. So I'm gonna try and get something under here. I'm kind of wishing that I had made this a little bit longer, and then I would have had a little more to pull out, you know, a little more assistance. So these are the bars, okay? You need to wait until they're completely cool to take them out, or they're going to tear, okay? So you're supposed to cut them into like 1-inch bars. So really I probably should have cut them a little longer. Maybe, let's see. Maybe like that to be more of a breakfast bar, okay? And so in the middle, you can see that they have this filling. So I'm gonna try a piece. It's not bad. It is a little dry. I'm wondering what could do to help that. I'm thinking that apricot was probably not the best choice for these. Maybe with the strawberry, it would have been a little bit better. Now it all came together pretty good because it's staying together, but the topping is a little bit dry. So I don't know if it needs maybe some more butter. And then I'd actually put a little bit more filling in there too, to give it a little more moisture. So good recipe to try, very good for you. And just like any recipe, you try it the first time and then you make adjustments going forward to your preference. So try it out. Okay.